By far, one of the worst categories on Steam is Early Access. And when you combine that with the acronym MMO, you'll be exposed to some prime slop. There are exceptions, of course, like Path of Exiles 2 and Project Gorgon, but in general, it's a cursed combination. And that hasn't stopped you guys from suggesting a plethora of early access titles. And with the MMO genre in such a desperate state, I figured I should start taking some of these suggestions seriously. I mean, it's not like you guys have ever steered me wrong. Leave a like if I should review New World. So to kick it off, the first MMO we'll be looking at today is Pioneer. Pause, but before we get started, I need to make some money, so here's a quick word from today's sponsor.
Are you looking for a new MMORPG to play? Something with decent lore, lots of questing, and it's free to play?
On January 14th, Ragnarok X Next Generations is finally launching its open beta. Over 25 million players have joined the adventure. If you've been craving that classic MMORPG feeling, you know, slow progression, deep world lore, real story quests, guilds, group versus group battles, well then good news, because ROX brings all of that back with modern polish. There's even an in-game exchange center, where supply and demand is determined by the player economy. Not only that, the premium currency diamonds can be exchanged for in-game crystals. With enough playtime, free-to-play players can obtain everything and even make a fortune purely through gameplay. So if you're looking for that classic MMORPG feel with a modern twist, then what are you waiting for? It's free to download and play as of today. Pioneer released in December 2025 in early access and flew under quite a lot of people's radars. Self-described as a MMO FPS, it is a combination of Fallout 76 meets Stalker. Or you can look at it this way, StarCraft X but with better graphics.
Oi, don't say that. That's not true. That's not true.
It has a vast open world with PvE and PvP content. The reviews are very mixed.
I've started to get this feeling that I'm totally fucked.
And it does have somewhat of a steady population. But in all honesty, how bad could it possibly be? I mean, I played Fallout 76 on the day of launch, and that was okay. Now on first log on, I had to take a double take because, is that Deshaun from the Elder Scrolls Online? Anyway, I had to choose my server, and there was quite a wide selection. I always tend to pick American servers because they seem to be more busy and active, which in itself is kind of ironic. Obviously, being an early access game, it means something had to break, which was the indicator to say how busy a server was. That was great.
The disaster happened several years ago. One night, a blue energy burst consumed 2 islands of the archipelago.
Okay, I'm going to just spare yourself to boring lore, but essentially you're on an island which was formerly a hub for secret Soviet laboratories. Big explosion. It feels like Chernobyl, but it's not like Chernobyl. And now you're in this post-apocalyptic world, and shit's mutated. Oh, and there's anomalies like in Stalker. One of the comments I read after playing the game was that they make the tutorial over 2 hours long, just so obviously you can't refund it. And now that I'm looking back at the footage, I can't unsee it because this character creator took an age to like load and get into. It's like, why? Why does it take so long? Why am I just floating around for ages? And as for the character creator itself, it was very basic. It actually made the New World character creator look impressive. For real, how long do you think I had before New World jokes just become irrelevant? As of the day it shuts down, or is there a few months leeway? I'm just genuinely curious. After a lot of work, I got my character looking like Trevor Phillips from GTA 5. And as per tradition, I gave him my IRL Christian name, Plob. If I told you guys I look like this in real life, would you believe me? So we kick it off the prologue where you wake up naked on a soiled mattress, or as I call it, any day ending in Y. Also, how big are those hands?
Big, masculine. My hands tell a story of greatness.
We are then greeted by the small, fat Arab guy from The Mummy who gets eaten by the beetles.
Oh, the Holy Awakening.
No, that's not a stereotype. That's a very accurate reference which actually gives you a glimpse into my movie knowledge and how great it is, so thank you. He then goes on to offer you some clothes and a weapon. Jesus Christ, look at the size of those hands. Who was the fucking hand model here? Andre the Giant?
Being made you look like a hobo, so we thought you definitely needed new clothes. A trekker died here recently. Go searching.
You were then offered some clothes which are currently attached to a dead body. The game then throws in a gay test, so if you see a bald man eating a smooth Mars bar, you're gay. And that's it, you're fully dressed and ready to go and embark on the, prologue. This is still the prologue. So I'm going to give you the brief overview of what happens, and that is you meet some sort of ghost person who gives you a shotgun. You try and use the shotgun, but you realize it's really shit because it gets 2 rounds off and it takes like half hour to reload. And by the time you do reload it, you could just switch to your fists and beat the shit out of the thing trying to kill you, which is just dumb. You go to a church, some Russians pick you up, great guys, and then they take you to the main player hub of the MMO, and that's where the actual game really begins. So the prologue, you could easily skip. There was then about a half hour of talking between different NPCs, and it was the longest thing ever. You literally had to go to NPC just so you can learn how to play the game, apparently. Honestly, I get why that guy said that it felt like the game was just trying to keep you in the tutorial for 2 hours just so you can't refund. But I honestly think it's something worse than that, which is it's just really bad storytelling, like horrible storytelling. I don't feel in the slightest bit immersed, I just felt really, really agitated. Until eventually I'd spoken to my last NPC and I was free to go roam this player hub. There was just one slight problem. There was a severe lack in players, so I decided to leave the player hub, and would you believe it, I had to go speak to a whole bunch of NPCs all over again. But eventually, I made it out, and the game started to open up.
To complete the tasks for the initiative or world exploration.
I was now officially in the shared open world where I can interact with other players and finally experience the MMO side of this game. And initially, it looked promising, like the graphics were really nice, the world looked very interesting. The size of the map was honestly impressive because this is just one zone. But then my first red flag. Global chat is unavailable. Only team chats are available.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
I was starting to think this wasn't a MMO. At this point, there was no turning back. I was officially past the 2 hour mark, which means no refunds. But I wasn't hating the game. The gun combat was questionable. It did seem a bit janky, but at the same time, I was low level. Maybe it would get better with time. The vibe was very Fallout-esque, but with a Eastern European twist. The anomalies just felt like a cheap knockoff from Stalker. Plus, you had this device on you which would beep if one was near. Fun fact, they were always near, so you just had this constant beeping going on. I did check out one of the other zones, but if I'm being honest, the performance was very jank. Global chat just simply didn't work at this point. The skill tree was very uninspiring, like the perks didn't even seem worth it. And just the amount of like inspiration they clearly took from other games just didn't feel right with me. Like it wasn't outright copying, but if you knew, you knew, basically. To be honest, I was actually getting close to throwing in the towel because I'd been sold an MMO, but so far everything about it screamed cheap single player game. And then something happened. This game suddenly became a MMO.
Stop it! Dude, stop it! You stop looking, stop!
The first thing I tried to do was communicate with this other player, but to be honest, they didn't seem to even care that I was there. If anything, they just ignored me. Do you know what? Maybe they just thought I was an NPC, so maybe it wasn't that they were ignoring me, it's just they didn't know what to do with me. First thing I'd done was check to see if there's actually VoIP, and to my surprise there was, so I made sure that I turned it on. Hello? 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 Yeah, I'm pretty sure this feature didn't work either. And that's the last I saw of Pep, and as much as I think he's a bit of a tool for not trying to talk to me, he did give me hope in that maybe there are other players out there who can communicate. All I had to do was find them. So I decided to take a punt and just switch servers and hope for the best. I tried pretty much all the servers, and from what I could see, the European server was the most populated. And here's a prime example of it in its peak. 1 player in the player lobby. Now, I did find a way to emote, but otherwise there was no real way to communicate. Which is so dumb. I can't get over how dumb this is. Now, this game does have matchmaking, so you can form player lobbies to do raids and PvP. So I figured I'd try and organise a raid. Being a relatively new game, there must be loads of new players who want to group up and raid. I mean, right? Right?
6.5 hours later.
Wrong. I queued up several times, and every time, nobody joined. So I queued up for the next most popular option, which would surely be PvP, right? Yeah, I just gave up and decided to give it a day and try again. To my surprise, there were actual players in the player lobby, so I felt like there's a good chance that PvP might work this time. And to my surprise, it was almost a full lobby. Surely the game would start any minute now. Yeah, it took over 6 minutes despite having 11 out of 12 players, but, you know, whatever, man. Great game design. So let me set the scene for you. I'd been playing this game over a couple of days, just trying to find players. I'd finally got into a PvP game, and this is the most amount of players I'd seen on screen at any given time. So therefore, I was genuinely excited to play this game mode. But I had made the vital mistake of not considering why it took so long to get a game. Now, upon death, I could spectate my teammates and the weapons that they had. And you can clearly see here, they seem to have a much better gun than me. And then I forgot the key component about this game. It's a bad MMO and a bad FPS. I was doomed from the start because all my opponents were A lot sweatier than me, B, had a lot better gear than me, and C, clearly enjoyed the game a lot more than me. But I persevered on. I'm used to playing FPS games. I used to play them when I was like 10 years old, so I was happy to be the underdog. Unfortunately, I learned pretty early on that my bullets pretty much did next to no damage, which meant I was fucked. Despite hitting my targets, all it took was one bullet from them and I was out of it. I did get one kill, and even that was painful. I'm assuming this guy was as fresh as me to this game because he actually went down pretty fast. But yeah, after that, it was pretty much all downhill. For some reason, the game just wouldn't end either, so I had to sit throughout the whole of it, just being demasculated throughout. Here's the edited down version for you. Despite our team being absolutely dominated, the game seemed to persist for the whole 15 minutes, which, as you can imagine, is enough to depress anyone. I might have enjoyed the PvP if it was actually players at the same level I was competing against, instead of playing against a team full of sweats with decent gear. Whose fault is that? Is that mine for being too underprepared? Maybe. Is it the game's fault for allowing it to happen? Yes. The good news was, I was clearly on a server with some sort of population. So with that in mind, I decided to give the Overland another go. And believe it or not, I did manage to have some player interactions. I wonder if I can PvP people. Would probably help if I claim. Fuck it, I'm just gonna follow him. Let's see where he goes. I'm coming to get you. You can't even fucking hear me. Why am I even trying to talk to him? Hello, friend. Hello. Are you going my way? Can you speak? Do you understand? Oh, he's emoting. I'll emote back. Yes, mate. Turn on. Wait, don't run away. Don't run away. Run away now. Run away. Where is he taking me? I'm just literally gonna chase him. I'm just gonna chase him and try not to die. Oh, where are we going? This way? You wanna go this way? Yeah, yeah. Okay. I'm pretty sure he's now I'm behind him. Like I'm about to give him the biggest jump scare of his life. Hello, boo. Ah, oh no, he does know I'm here. Okay, maybe he knows what he's doing. What is this? We are now doing graffiti. Excellent. Oh, Russian Fallout lady. Okay, now what? Don't make me run. I'm full of chocolate. Eventually, me and my friend here departed ways because, well, he went into a single player instance. The funny thing was, though, he ran back out because I think he realized what he'd done, but then, for whatever reason, we didn't group up and he just went back in again. So, yeah, kind of made a friend, kind of didn't. I carried on playing for a couple more hours, and in that time, I leveled up, I explored some more, and I did run into players from time to time. And it truly was a bizarre experience. I had these players in my world which I couldn't really interact with. There was no global chat to read whilst playing, and the only way to really communicate was to emote, and most people treat you like an inconvenience in their world. With all that being said though, it isn't the worst early access game I've played. As for the worst MMO, I mean, I'm not even sure if you can categorize it as a MMO. Although technically it does have fishing, so is that enough to qualify it? Probably not. Maybe with time they'll add voice chat and a global chat and then it will feel more MMO-ish, but right now it just feels like a single player game. If you want to play a Stalker / Fallout like MMO, well then go play Fallout 76 or StarCraft X. Trolldom, the Danish word for witchcraft or sorcery. I know that because I googled it. I had a fair few people suggest this, and just a reminder, most games that people suggest I do write down on my little list. So if you do have any suggestions, like, what are you doing? Comment below. I might just go play it. But back to Trolldom, positive reviews, recent release, what's the catch?
Ban the Sawman guy. Ban the Sawman guy right now. Get him out. Get him out. Get him out. What? My God. My God. Kill him. Just kill him. sawmanUK, kill him. I want like Felina Breaking Bad with the laser pointers, but it's actual guns. Kill him.
I know how it looks, but just hear me out. It has had a wave of positive reviews. People really do like this game. With the early criticism being about the use of AI in a couple of instances and the movement not being as fluid as it could be. It is not breaking sales records like other old school looking MMOs, but trust me, the journey I went on with this game, just give me 5 minutes of your time. I promise you, this game is worth mentioning. As expected, it was a quick and easy install. However, it didn't seem ready for my 29-inch monitor. So I clicked OK and just hoped for the best. Next up was the cutest little character creator you've ever seen. And honestly, looking back at the footage, I don't remember it being this blurry, so I had to go re-record this. But yes, there's 3 classes to choose from, 2 are locked, and the actual character creator is pretty simple, because it's pixels. But as stupid as this sounds, I actually really like the low poly style. It's just, I don't know, it's a vibe. Anyway, my blind ass created my character, and off I went. I was in the game for a total of about 1-2 minutes, and then I quit. The reason for that is because the UI scale was just completely off, and I've had this before with other games, and usually you need to like read up on how to fix it. So I went away and did just that. I promise you, I'm not that blind, I just have big monitors, alright? They're just big monitors. I won't lie, the controls for this are really basic, and it even looks stuttery, but it's just literally moving pixel by pixel, which honestly didn't feel that bad after a while. The combat was similar to other tab target MMOs. You had your skill bar with abilities, all with different cooldowns. You have a health bar and mana bar, and even combat text in the bottom right corner. And after killing an enemy, you gain XP and loot. All pretty straightforward stuff. Apart from being 2D, so far it felt like any other tab target MMO, which is a good thing. I also felt like I should be playing this on a Game Boy, and I absolutely adored my Game Boy back in the day. Anyway, with no clear objectives, I just started exploring and just getting a feel for the world. Also, take note, I have experienced 0 tutorials so far, and yet I already know what I'm doing. Maybe there is something to be said for simple designs. Or maybe it's just the fact that they're using systems that every MMO... Guys, where are you going? No, come back. I'm not done yet. I'm not done. Trust me when I say this is a decent MMO. Please. I recognise that this game doesn't look great, and for a lot of people, it's just not going to capture their attention. But what this game does really well is, although it does lack on graphics, it actually has a lot of nostalgia about it. The art style, the movement, even like the menus, it just all fits in nicely. But even old school concepts like having a fog so you can only see so far. What people will perceive as just a guy who probably doesn't know how to use UE5, I see as someone who's on purposely chose this style and then doubled down on it and brought in all the best elements from other MMOs. You have a skill tree which gets bigger the more professions that you learn. You have primary professions like alchemy, blacksmithing, enchanting, herbalism, mining, and tailoring. You can only do 2 of those. And then you have secondary skills like cooking, fishing, and first aid. You can swap out your primary professions, but the idea realistically is that you do just trade with other players. And the surprising thing about a game with hardly any players is that everyone's actually quite social. The global chat is constantly flowing, and even when I was trying to figure out how to fish, people like just jumped to help me. I was actually kind of surprised by it. It also has old school questing, so it doesn't hold your hand, but it gives you a rough idea of where to go. It's up to you to decide which NPCs to speak to, and the world, although I only got to experience Tutorial Island, it's big. There's a lot to go and see. In terms of the difficulty, I feel like if you just out-level stuff, it might be a bit easier, although I think being someone who could self-heal does come in handy. There's also options to hire companions to help you. They're not overpowered in any sort of way. In fact, I just used them more as cannon fodder, which kind of worked, but realistically, I think you're supposed to group up. There's dungeons, optional PvP, no pay to win, just literally the box price. And better still, you can actually download the game for free as a demo, which allows you to get to level 10 on Tutorial Island, which gives you time to obviously try the game out and try different classes. Personally, I put in around 10 hours and I've enjoyed every moment of it. And the thing is, all of this has been done by one developer, just one. I do have to admit though, this title is no longer in early access. It actually managed to do a full release. Can you believe that? In this day and age, a MMO actually coming out. But listen, the deal was you suggest a game, I try it out. I wasn't too sure how to present this one. I mean, it's not like I'm going to do 100 hours in it anytime soon. Or would I? I'll tell you what, get this video to 5,000 likes, I'll do 100 hours of this game. Is that what you want? Is that what you really want from me? So last up, we have SpiritVale. People have suggested this in my stream and on my comments, so I figured we'll check it out. Technically, it's still in early playtest with a hope to go into early access, and it will supposedly be free to play, so let's just jump on it. I'm not gonna lie, the art style is a bit of a jump scare, but on the bright side, the servers do have players. So to kick it off, the first thing we have to do is create our character. There's a total of 7 classes to choose from, which is actually more than what Ashes of Creation had on release. You have a mage, warrior, scout, rogue, acolyte, summoner, and knight to choose from. I did initially go rogue, but I felt like that's too mainstream, so I chose the scout, who clearly was the most masculine out the lot. In terms of customization, there is actually a lot of variety, and they allow me to do one thing which never happens in these sort of games, and that is make a ugly character.
It looks like grandma, the fucking thing!
Just remember, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and there are people who literally like pit bulls. Anyway, character done, it was time to play. Now, it's worth saying, it definitely has a very specialist and unique aesthetic, which I'm not actually against. I kind of like this cartoony vibe it's got going on. There is certainly a lot of noise going on. I think anyone with any sort of neurodivergency will be stimming out of their heads right now. And surprisingly, there wasn't too much in the way of hand-holding. Like, it wasn't telling me to go do anything. It was just, you are in the game. So, I went exploring. I'm not sure what this is, but I assume they're having fun doing it. There seemed to be a PvP arena, and it was very, very, very empty. As nice as the city is, there's only so many places that you can go. I assume it's because it's still a playtest. I did, however, get to test out the dummy for myself. Not quite the same damage as the other guy, but hey, it's a start. And then disaster struck. I played for another hour on this character, and this is all the footage I have for it because the rest just got corrupted. So I had to start again.
Fuck.
I decided to switch it up and do a summoner this time. Honestly, what are these hairstyles? Once again, character completed, and I headed out into the big wide open world. So a feature that is pretty cool but probably needs to be fleshed out a bit is that you can run your own shop. I'm pretty sure these guys are AFK or just not logged in, and the player stands there and advertises everything that they have for sale. Oh look, Mr. Epstein has a shop. So as a summoner, I can summon in a pet. There's a couple to choose from, but I went for the cactus because I'm quirky and prickly. Whilst leveling, I was sent a trade request by a random player, which I kind of ignored because I was too busy looking at my skills. I mean, that's a dick move by me, I admit. But they seemed adamant on giving me something, so I accepted. And honestly, I don't know what made him be so generous. Maybe his backpack was full or something, but he literally gave me a full set of armor and weapons. I'm assuming he just really wanted me to enjoy the game. And I tend to go by the philosophy of I should try the game myself without getting help. However, I also lost 1 hour's worth of work, so I accepted. I took this gear and I ran with it. We sent a cute emoji to each other. Kawaii! God, I can't believe I just done that. And I carried on killing stuff. It is worth noting that although better gear will help me level up, it would just give me more attacking stats and buffs. Also note, as a summoner, I can only have one pet out at a time, and honestly, I just vibe with the cactus. I love Final Fantasy VII and the cactuars, so soz not soz. Also, as much as I accepted the trade, I didn't actually equip the items because I don't know why. I just forgot, I guess. And he was very adamant I use his gear, so I put it on. And it goes without saying, it made a notable difference, which meant I could level up quicker. So my new gear in hand, I went around this level 1 area just grinding mobs for a bit. You have something called a job level, which is essentially your class level, and as that gets higher, you unlock skills which you can then put towards your abilities and buffs and so on. Base level refers to your raw stats, and then you also can change jobs at level 10, but you have to be job level 10 first. I was now ready to graduate from the tutorial little island thing, and I went to the next zone over. Essentially, the map is split into sections. Each section has its own level range, and there's different mobs in each area. And in terms of gameplay, it's pretty much the same. You just bash the shit out of stuff and level up. I'm just going to be open and honest. I'm not sure what the gameplay loop is going to look like when it comes to endgame. I went through and played this and just went from zone to zone, bashing the shit out of people, collecting materials, which you can then use to actually buy equipment in certain areas. But realistically, as a whole, when it comes to the gameplay loop, that's it. There was no questing to be done. It was just level up, level your gear up, fight harder bosses. I mean, maybe I should play a little bit longer to get to the end game, but as playtests go, if this is what they was testing just to see what you could do, I pretty much saw it all within a couple of hours. There was moments that I did die, so okay, it wasn't like it was an easy grind. There is a bit of skill that goes into it, and you could obviously try and make a build to make yourself more powerful at grinding. I think anyone who likes Black Desert Online is probably gonna love this. Speaking of which, when it comes to actually leveling up your gear, there's certain material that you have to get, and when you do get to level up, it's a gamble. So, you know what they're trying to aim for here, don't you? I'm not aware of there being a premium currency to help level up your gear just yet, but I can certainly see there being an option for it in the future, especially if they want to make any sort of money. But yeah, the gameplay loop essentially comes down to grinding mobs, leveling up gear, grinding more mobs. I generally don't know what else to say about this game. So yes, the early access category is cursed, but there are some gems in there, so don't give up hope just yet. Obviously, I want to carry this series on. There's so much more out there that I want to explore, so make sure you comment down below games that I should check out. There has to be more to the MMO genre than just World of Warcraft.
World of Warcraft, baby! Yeah!
And on that bombshell, I'm going to end the video there. As always, a like is always appreciated because it really does help with the algorithm, and I don't know if you can see my channel lately, but I'm looking kind of washed up. I have got another big project which I'm working on and I'll hopefully have out next month. And as always, a massive thank you to my YouTube and Patreon members for supporting me in these dark times. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye for now.